livestock friends, and welcome to this edition of Before the Bid. This is a podcast dedicated to the livestock sales industry where we go behind the scenes of the operation and speak straight to the sellers. We discuss topics about the important aspects of their operation, location, the people behind the prep work, and talk about some of the animals that will be offered to you, the prospective buyers. Hopefully, you've got your sale catalog close by. You might have to go look through that pile on your desk. But if not, then you're probably like me and driving down the road or busy with chores around the farm. And that's okay too. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you enjoy this segment of Before the Bid. I'm your host, Andy Howell. Welcome, livestock friends, to another edition of Before the Bid. And very excited about this podcast. If you haven't figured out, I like firsts. I like to do new things and like to try new things. And with a new podcast, a lot of things are new a lot of times. And I am excited about this one because we actually go international this time with Before the Bid. And we are coming to you today from Quebec, Brome, Quebec. And we are meeting and talking with our new friends from Millbrooks. And All Nuts are having the Millbrook Northern Exposure sale and Volume 1, and it is going to be on SC on October 5th. And they have elected a young lady to be their spokeslady for them today, and her and I have been visiting here and had a great visit, and I want to bring some things out that she's told us. And she is a very interesting young lady. She grew up in West Canada, in Alberta, and grew up in the Simmental world, but she has moved east to Quebec, and now she is helping All Nuts with those shorthorns and become right with those shorthorns. And so we're going to talk to a young lady today that she has her own picture and video program that she does. And actually, she was gone. We had to hold off on the podcast so that she could get back because she was out doing those things. And so I want to introduce to you today a young lady again that we've been talking and gotten to know each other a bit here, and excited to have Stacy Young on the podcast today. And Stacy, I got to looking, and like I told you earlier, my Canada geography is not very good, but when I knew that your phone number came up, Alberta, on my phone when I called you, and then I found out you were in Quebec, I started looking this thing up, and man, you've traveled a long, long way.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. Yeah, we have made a few miles getting out to Quebec. Seems like we make a lot of miles for where we live, but yeah, life is good. So,
what would make you move from Alberta? And we were talking, where you grew up is about 10 hours north of the line here into Alberta, and then you find yourself all the way over on the east side in Quebec.
yeah, it was actually a boy that made me move, of course. And luckily he had a love for cattle as well. So that's kind of what brought me over to the eastern side of Canada. I guess from where I would call my original home farm, we would be about 45 hours from there. So,
wow, give us just a little insight. How did this happen?
So my boyfriend's name is Blair. He is one of the partners here at Millbrook. And Blair had traveled with some of his shorthorn cattle to Western Canadian Agribition that's held in Regina, Saskatchewan. And it'd be one of the major shows in Canada. My family and I also exhibited Simmental cattle at the show, and during the week that we were there, we met each other, got to know each other, and then I guess about 5 or 6 months later, kind of struck up a relationship, and nearly 2 years later, here we are, and I have relocated to the other side of the country, brought a couple Simmentals with me, but now kind of call myself a partner here at Millbrook.
Well, that's great. What a great story and an interesting story, and it takes a lot of guts to do that, and a lot of faith, and so I think that's a great story, and you're going to influence those guys with a little bit of Simmental as well, huh?
we're trying to. Yeah, we're slowly building a little bit of a Simmental program here. Blair quite likes them. We've got some red and black ones, so at least it's easy for me when I walk out into the field to pick out my own cows. They stick out between the roans and that. So.
Right, something different for them to look at, and something different for you to look at, right?
You bet.
Well, that's great. And got a lot of things that we want to talk about on this podcast, and excited to have you guys on here. But Stacy, tell us a little about yourself. You've got a picture and video business that you do, and it sounds like you do a lot of things. And I guess first, if you would introduce yourself, and then we can get into the Millbrook operation.
You bet. So, as you mentioned, I originally am from Western Canada. My family has a Simmental herd about an hour southwest of Edmonton, for anyone who knows any Canadian geography. Like you said, it is about 10 hours north of Montana. And there I grew up with Simmental cattle through our Canadian Simmental programs, 4-H, all of those kind of good things. How to have some cattle on my own. We actually run those under the farm, Highwood Land and Cattle. And then through kind of life as things go on, have always had a love of picturing and videoing cattle. And so for the last 2 years, have been doing that, as well as working with a company, Direct Livestock Marketing Systems, or DLMS, we call it. As recently now, I guess the Eastern Canada sales rep for that. A company that'd be very similar to Superior. We do, purebred livestock auctions, as well as have a heavy commercial influence as well, direct and pre-sort calf sales through the year. And so that keeps me on the road quite a bit through spring and fall. And luckily with that, can tie in, a lot of herd visits through the year, both on the Shorthorn and Simmental side of things. So that keeps me busy while I am on the road. And I guess I'm also on the farm here. Like I said, Blair would be my boyfriend, and he would be a partner in the farm along with his family parents, Mike and Karen. So then I guess when I'm not picturing and videoing, the cattle here keep us busy, that's for sure.
Looks like a very good program, and these cattle that we're getting ready to talk about later, I've seen them on Facebook, and can't wait to get the videos to put the podcast video together. And what a set of females these are, and so just excited to get to talking about those. Stacy, do you do a lot of one breed, or are you over quite a few breeds with your picture and videos that you're doing?
Eastern Canada here, Simmental would probably be my largest breed of cattle, but I would also do Herefords, Angus, Charolais, Speckle Park, which would be probably maybe a new breed to some of your listeners, a breed that was actually founded in Canada. And then I also do Shorthorns as well, I guess. So.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, we a little bit of everything, anyways. Get to meet a lot of different people, which is great. Build some new friendships and relationships when you're going to these places, And it's a nice kind of combination of being able to do the two.
You are from Canada, but you guys do get down here to the States quite a bit, and have some customers down here in the States, and we'll talk about that here in a bit. But what are some of the major differences that you know of in the show cattle world, and just kind of in raising cattle a bit from the Canadian to the U.S. programs?
They're definitely, as much as we like to think that we're extremely similar to the U.S., in a lot of ways we are, there are some pretty major differences when we get talking about things up in Canada. One of the biggest would be our show industry. We have a lot fewer shows than you would have in the U.S., and our I guess, entries. The number of cattle that exhibit at these would also be smaller. The largest shows in Canada would draw 1,000 head of cattle. And at those shows, you're there almost for a week. We don't quite have that rotation system that happens at a lot of the American shows just due to numbers. Something that's neat in Canada that we have a lot of supreme competitions, which you would in your junior heifers, but ours are more for a bull and a female. 99% of the time, it's a cow-calf pair that's winning those. We show a lot of cow-calf pairs up in Canada, and usually that's where you'll find your champion female as opposed to a bred heifer. And we also show quite a few more bulls in Canada than you will in the States as well. Other differences that we'll see in Canada, we are limited on some of the feed options that we have. We always joke, but with COVID and the border closing right now, we can travel anywhere from 6 to 8 hours to find cotton seed hulls to feed to our cattle. So there's definitely some differences in the feed that we have as well, and availability and things like that. And then the other glaring obvious thing when you think of Canada is the weather. We will have anywhere from 100-degree temperature swings between summer and winter. So we have to select for cattle that can thrive in those conditions as well. And maybe it makes us a little bit tougher too when you're outside at minus 40. So.
We were talking about that earlier, and when you look at the map, you're just right north of Vermont. And what'd you say, about 15 minutes to get down to Vermont?
Yeah, you bet. We're 15 minutes from the Vermont border. We're about half an hour into the northern New York. So we are pretty far south, but we do get some wild weather that come off the Great Lakes and the Atlantic Ocean that can bring some wild weather with it.
Maybe like me and not great at their Canadian geography. They're actually a bit south of parts of Minnesota, North Dakota, Montana, quite a bit south of the northern. So some temperature things and different climates, but not completely different than most of the states.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, we experience a lot of kind of what those northeastern states. I mean, even into Iowa and that. Very similar to what they would experience.
And you talked about showing there, and you talked about having to be there all week. So, man, when you guys have to drive 35 hours to a show, and then you have to be there for a whole week, that's quite a commitment to get to go to have to go to some of those shows.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, like I said, especially in Eastern Canada, a lot of people have some smaller farms, hobby farms. A lot of people do have an off-farm job, and so we kind of end up banking all of our holidays through the years to be able to go to these stock shows. For us, when we do go to those shows that are 30-ish hours away, it ends up being at least a good 2-week process by the time we go there and back.
Right, yeah. And you guys do make it down here. I thought it was pretty neat when we were talking to somebody from Canada, and you guys come down here to Louisville, which is about 45 minutes away from me. And tell us a little about that experience, and why might you bring those cattle down here to Louisville to show?
Yeah, you bet. For us, I mean, Louisville we see as the Super Bowl in the shorthorn breed. If you can go there and have a champion or division winners, I mean, that means a lot. With limited numbers in Canada as well, we view it as a great option to expand our market. And we really do feel that the Canadian cattle can compete down there. So, bringing some different genetics, and for us, I mean, just the level of competition that there is as well. We truly think that it doesn't get better than that. And we want to kind of put our name in the hat there and compete with the best of the best. And so that's why we make the trip to Louisville.
and competing in Canada. If you go to your Facebook page, the Millbrook Farm Facebook page, you can go down through there and you can see some pictures of some of the successes that you guys have had, and I believe it was at the Royal. Is that correct? Where you guys you had to move all the cattle out of the stalls to hang all the banners. Is that right?
Pretty much. We took 5 head last year, and I think we came home with 17 or 18 banners. We're very fortunate to have champion female, champion bull, and reserve champion bull at that show. So yeah, we were very, very grateful and blessed that day. Not a day that you have often, but we sure were ecstatic about it.
Right. And how far is that one from you guys where you're at?
That show's about 8 hours for us to get to, and that would be our closest major show.
And then when you go clear across country, do you guys? Do you haul in a semi? Do you haul in a truck and trailer?
Yeah, we have a few different options. There's some trucking companies that you can kind of reserve your spot into. We prefer to take our cattle ourselves, and so we're taking, just a truck and trailer and trying to have 2 to 3 drivers. We drive straight through when we go. We don't stop other than to water the cattle. So yeah, trying to have a couple drivers, especially for that trip home. I think it doesn't matter if you're in Canada or the U.S., that stock show crowd gets to you, and, having a few drivers to rotate in and out can always be nice.
Right.
All of our major shows fall in the fall and winter, so we're usually driving through snow and ice as well as we're going, which can make for some interesting driving conditions. But
doesn't sound like a lot of fun to me. I'm not a great big snow and ice driver, but we can do it. So, Stacy, tell us about the Millbrook operation, and how did they get their start, and what do they do there that kind of sets them apart?
Yeah, so Millbrook Farms itself have been at this Brum location for, we're not even sure exactly how long. We've been here long enough that the road is named after us, let's put it that way.
Oh, wow, that's great.
But we've been producing and raising shorthorn cattle for nearly 60 years now under the Millbrook name. Like I said, it would be Blair's parents, Mike and Karen, as well as Blair and myself that run the farm. Blair would be the 3rd generation to be raising these shorthorns here. Kind of around the mid-2000s was really when the program started to ramp up, using a lot of AI, trying to move the program forward, using more selection and some higher quality bulls. And from there, we've just kind of continued with AI and ET work, continually improve the herd. We are big advocates on a few things. The terrain where we live is a really sandy soil. And there's quite a few hills. We're at the top of the Appalachian Mountains here. So feet and leg structure is super important to us. It's something that we really strive for. And then for us, we really do like a combination of the Canadian and U.S. genetics, kind of taking a little bit from the structure side of the U.S. and incorporating some of the mass and structure mass and shapes that come with Canadian cattle. And so we find that combination between the two, really gives us that ideal cow that we're looking for. We are big on cow families, big on udders as well, and so that's kind of the combination that works for us, and I guess maybe makes us a little bit different than some of the other cattle that we'll sell this fall, in that we do have that combination, so allowing us to for a few maybe unique pedigrees or cattle that do have that little extra mass to them.
What are some of those cow families that you guys enjoy?
Yeah, we have 3 main cow families that we work around. We would have the Regals, the Marias, and the Daisy's Pride. There would be a Regal and Maria calf in the sale, and Daisy's Pride would be the mother of Fireball, which I'm sure we'll talk about here in a little bit. We really don't try and buy a lot of cows. We really try and just use some AI and EP work and incorporate kind of those 3 cow families. And if we do go look for a cow to purchase, she needs to be of donor quality with some unique pedigree to her that we can incorporate into the herd.
And now your percentages for your Canadian cattle are a little bit different than the U.S. cattle. Is that correct?
Correct. So on the difference for us falls, and it would be with all breeds in Canada, is that for a bull to be considered a purebred in Canada, they need to be 15/16, where in the States you guys are 7/8. And so when we go to utilize AI and things like that, even herd bull selection, not only are we looking for quality of cattle, but we really do need to watch percentages of cattle. In Canada, again, across all breeds, percentage cattle are not as valuable or, I guess, popular as they are in the States. So our shorthorn pluses and that, well, we can move a few of them. We really do try and just keep to the purebred cattle.
Okay. And your heifers the same. They've got to be a bit different than what the U.S. correct?
Heifers are the same. We can a purebred is still considered 7/8 in Canada, but it's on the bull side that we have the differences, and so we have to do a few additional calculations when we're planning our meetings.
Okay. Well, that's great. Well, you guys have sold cattle up there, and you've sold cattle down here, and you've had if you go to the Facebook page, you guys have had some success in some of those animals that you've sold. If you would, can you highlight some of those and tell us about a few of those?
Yeah, you bet. The Daisy's Pride cow family has been really popular in the States. There was a cow she sold as a heifer calf a few years ago that sold 2 little feeder, and they're actually selling her in the Great Shorthorn Revival here in a couple of weeks. And then her probably most notable calf would be Millbrook Fireball, a calf, or not calf, I guess he was a yearling bull, that we won Toronto. He was champion bull at Toronto Royal Agriculture Winter Fair. And then we took him down to Louisville. He was reserve division there, and we were very fortunate that Cornerstone Farms bought him. And so he works down in the States now and has become an extremely popular AI sire. The first calves in the States should be born. There might be some fall borns, but we will have the first Fireball female that will be on offer in our sale.
Yeah, I thought the Fireball thing was very, very interesting. You guys being from Canada and that far away, and Fireball bought by Jason Newcomb, good friend of mine and a guy that I grew up with, and actually Fireball might be running in the pastures and in the barn that I grew up on, depending on what one that he has him in. So I just thought that was really cool, and just to see Fireball, and just what a very nice high quality bull, and we'll talk about him just a bit later here when we talk about the sale, because you guys are going to offer some semen on him.
That is correct. Yeah.
All right. Well, I just thought that was really neat. So, what do you guys see as the future of the Millbrook operation?
Yeah, right now we are trying to grow our numbers a little bit. We would right now we're calving about 50 females a year. We would like to add a few more to that. We also are just trying to really kind of strive to continue the quality that we have. We have incorporated a couple new bulls into our herd as of late. Be the Relevant bull as well as the Maxim son, and so we're excited about the future of them. We are also, as far as future goes, we're really excited about the sale and have a new customer appreciation program that's coming into effect with cattle bought out of the sale. We are really customer driven. We like to keep in touch with our customers. We love to see our customers have success with the cattle that they purchase. And so that's going to be a big avenue as we move forward through in the next couple of years.
Can you tell us about this customer appreciation sale, or is it new enough that there's not a lot of details?
Well, we have showed a few details of it, but the gist of it will be any genetics that come from Millbrook, whether it be through embryo, semen, or live cattle, will be eligible for future Northern Exposure sales. There'll be cattle that we will go out and select from our customers, and we will bring them to the farm here and manage all sale preparations on them. And then we will be helping these customers of ours to sell these cattle. We find we have less outlets in Canada to move cattle, especially in the shorthorn breed. And we don't want that to be a deterrent from anyone who may want to purchase or get involved into the shorthorn breed. And so we will be working quite closely with all these customers and be anxious in the spring to find out, what is out there as far as Millbrook genetics to bring back to the farm here to help promote for volume 2 of the sale.
Right. So probably looking at a larger sale for volume 2 then?
Yeah. We really do want to keep high quality for the sale. But yeah, I would expect that next year we will have a few additional lots for everybody to select from.
Is the goal to get to maybe a production sale in a few years?
Well, that is maybe in the future. There has been talk about something like that, as well as maybe a spring volume of the sale as well, having a fall and a spring sale. So all things I'm sure you'll see from Millbrook over the next few years.
Let's get into, are you ready to get into these heifers and talk about this sale offering?
You bet.
All right. Well, if I want to direct people to the Facebook page, go to, if you're on Facebook, go to Millbrook Farms, and they have got I thought this was really neat that somebody posted today. Stacy, I'm going to assume that it was you that posted this today. Are you in charge of their Facebook stuff?
I am. I handle all the social media and marketing for the farm.
Okay, well, one that I'm excited about and something that I'm going to enter myself, you can go to the Millbrook Farm Facebook page and you can like the post that she has. She's got the pictures of the heifers that are in the offering up there. Comment which one's your favorite one and share it for a bonus entry because you guys are going to give away hats. Is that right?
That's right. We sure are. We've got some Millbrook hats here made up that we would love to get out to some of our Facebook fans.
Well, I am a hat lover myself, and I know I would love to have one of these Millbrook hats. So maybe I'll share it 4 or 5 times. Do you think that'll give me some more entries? Well, I might try to do that. Is there any other place, Stacy, that we could direct them to see these if they're not looking on the podcast video, or they're not a Facebook user, or maybe they're not even on SC? Is there any other place that maybe they can find those?
Sale heifer videos will be available on YouTube if you want to head there. And we do have a marketing partner for the sale, First Class Marketing, First Class Cattle Marketing, and the sale information and catalog will be posted on their website as well.
Yeah, well, what a set of heifers that you guys have to offer. You've got seven heifers and some fireball semen. And Stacy, why don't you just kind of take it away here and let us know which one you're talking about and tell us everything you want us to know about them.
You bet. So maybe before we get into the heifers, just as a note for everybody who is interested in the sale, we will be working in Canadian dollars for the sale. And our exchange rate, your dollar is quite valuable to ours. So for any Americans that are interested in the sale, you're going to be looking at about a 25% discount on your bid price with the dollar exchange to really make these heifers of value, that's for sure. But let's jump in with the lot 1 heifer. We might as well start at the beginning. This would be the Veronica heifer. She is a Firestorm. Firestorm is a Canadian bred bull by Hillhaven, bull that was exhibited down at Denver. A heifer that we just think a lot of. She's complete in every way that you would want to make this heifer. She's got that show ring appeal, but tons of mass to her. Her mother will be our next donor, coming from the Veronica cow family. Her mother would be a maternal sister to the high seller out of Kate's Modoc Madness fall sale, and just a female that is really hard to fault. We think that she has a lot of future, whether it be in the show ring or as a donor.
And if you're looking on the Facebook page, that's the Veronica, the 5H heifer, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, great.
Then our lot 2 heifer is one that obviously there's been a lot of buzz about. This would be the first Fireball female to sell. She is a February heifer, and a heifer that we love. I mean, she is wild marked, but this heifer has so much rib to her. She's got mass and dimension, everything that you want in a female. We love this heifer. She's super easy doing, and we think that's something that the Fireballs are really going to carry through, is the feedability into them. But just a heifer that like I said, tons of ribs, tons of mass and dimension into her. One again that we think can compete at that high level, but maybe the highest cow prospect as well in the sale.
And this is the Red Rose 10H, correct?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, she is. If you look down on there on that Facebook, there's a whole lot of those guys that really like her.
Yeah, she has been a fan favorite. I think, she's got, like I said, she is a little bit wild marked, but she's got the look to be that show heifer, and definitely has been that fan favorite. So.
Mm-hmm. Right. Really nice.
Mm-hmm. The lot 3 heifer is a real interesting heifer. That would be the Maria heifer, 14H. This would be the full sister to the 2019 champion female and the 2018 reserve champion female at the Toronto Royal. So this would be an ET female out of our Maria donor cow. This heifer is dark cherry red. She's got big pieces to her. She's super long made, big hips. Super sound. A heifer that is maybe a little bit greener compared to the sale, but she has as much future, we think, as anything. And a female that has us really excited. Her full sisters that have calved out, we're super happy with. They're great uddered females, and just ones that, with the pedigree that she has, and the look that she has, another heifer that we think can compete at a big level.
Mm-hmm. Very high quality female. I really, really like her. Yeah, she's got to be in that top 3 or 4 of those ones that I'm going to pick and put on there.
You bet. And then the lot 4 heifer. This is an April heifer out of the Waco bull, which to shorthorn breeders needs no introduction. And she would be an EP daughter out of our Regal donor. We did sell a full sister to this heifer a few years ago in Canada here, and she was highly successful at our Canadian majors. And this heifer's got a lot of performance to her. Again, some big pieces to her. She's big middled, and she's, skinny necks and all those kind of things that we want in our show heifer. But this one's got some donor potential to her, we believe. The full sister to her looks exceptional, and we'll actually have some full sibs coming in the spring out of this, to this heifer. That beautiful redneck roan on her. I mean, you can't really paint her a nicer color for a roan. But another one, kind of these first 4 heifers are all heifers that we believe can compete on a big level for a show heifer.
And this is the Regal 19H, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Yeah, 2 Regal heifers on the sale, right?
You bet. So yeah, our lot
Okay.
5 heifer is also a Regal heifer out of a bull called Hillhaven Density, which again is a Canadian bred bull. A bull that we kind of use on some of our heifers. And this heifer's got a lot of performance to her too. She's an early January heifer. A heifer that's got lots of rib to her, really nice head on her, real maternal look to her. Her mother is one of our favorite young cows in the herd with just a picture perfect udder on her. Again, just a big hip, big muscled heifer that we think kind of brings a unique pedigree to some Americans as well, but a heifer that, we think has a lot of future, especially down the road as a cow prospect.
Another high quality female.
Yeah, and as we move into lot 6, our Margie female. The Margie cow family has been so dominant through the U.S., and we do see a few of them make their way into Canada. And so this would be our version of Margie, if we want to say. And Margie would be out of our new herd sire Relevance that we use on all of our heifers, a real calving bull. And we love these Relevances. They're born at about 60 or 70 pounds on heifers, and they're born easy. But what makes this heifer unique is this heifer has muscle and mass. We talk about a lot of these females getting a little frail nowadays, and she is anything but that. She's got tons of shape to her, but still got some smoothness and look to her, and a young female just off a 2-year-old that we think, has a lot of future to her, whether it be in the show ring or producing those high quality heifers and bulls down the road.
Mm-hmm. You say she's off of a first calf female?
She is, yeah. She's just off a first calver, and so we're really excited about that cow's future here at the farm, and I kind of expect some big things if that's what she can produce on her first calf.
Right, done very, very well. Now, Stacy, when we talked about a week or so ago, and we were talking about this sale and your sale lineup, you said you have 6 lots, and then you surprised us with 7 lots here, and I think we've got a unique female here for is this Daisy 23H for lot 7?
You bet. So our lot 7 heifer is a younger heifer. She's in April, and a heifer that we actually brought in to be a spare, and she is just blowing us away with what she's done, and so we didn't want to leave her out of it. Beautiful marked roan female that comes from that Daisy cow family, and just a sweetheart of a young heifer. She's hairy, and she's smooth made, and she's super sound, and with her age just being mid-April, we think this heifer's got a lot of future to her, one that can compete in that show ring. But again, being that mix of American and Canadian cattle, one that does have some added shape to her compared to a lot of April females. And like I said, that color pattern, I love looking at this heifer. She's just pretty.
Yeah, she's really, really cool. I can understand why you brought her in. And then we've got some semen to sell on this Fireball bull, right?
You bet. So when we sold Fireball, we did retain the Canadian semen rights. So we will have, there'll be 75 straws in total out of Fireball that we will be selling. There'll be 5 packs of 10 and 5 packs of 5 that we'll be selling. It's CSS approved semen. And for any Americans that are interested, you can purchase it through Cornerstone Farms. Jason Newcomb, he is selling it. But the semen will be available for Canadians. And we have sold just a little bit of Fireball semen last year, but actually before he was crowned champion in Toronto. And we are really excited. We've heavily used him this year. We're expecting about a third of our calf crop will be out of Fireball this next year. a bull that just brings some different things to the table. He's stunningly marked. We really could not paint him a nicer color. Out of that tremendous Daisy's Pride cow, a cow that we think the world of, and she really can't do any wrong here. But Fireball himself just has a unique look and how much mass he has, but the abilities that he has to move, really unlike anything that we've seen in Canada. And I know there's a lot of Americans that really fell in love with him in Louisville as well.
Next time I get back to my mom and dad's, and I'm going to go see Jason, I'm going to say, let me see this Fireball bull, because you're right, man. He is so cool marked and so cool made, and so just excited about him, and Brandy and I really liked him, and Brandy really liked his name because that's one of her favorite beverages as well. So that kind of struck us. But then when you really get to looking at him, why you really appreciate him. So.
His name sure made for a great celebratory drink every time he won anyways.
That's exactly right, yeah. So we may have a little bit when we get this podcast done and put out and have the success. We'll just have a celebratory Fireball with it. So, Stacy, you say this Fireball semen. Now, is this Fireball semen on the sale? Is it only available for Canadian use? Did I understand that right?
Yeah, it is CSS qualified, so if an American really did want to purchase it, they could. I'm going to give you a heads up. You can probably get it from Jason cheaper than what it'll sell through the sale. So the semen we are just going to limit to Canadians only. And like you say, if you are an American and you're wanting to get some semen on this Fireball bull, Cornerstone Farms is the place to go. Jason does have it on the open market right now.
Okay. Now we've got another issue that I wanted to talk to you about. When these Americans buy these Canadian cattle for 25% off the Canadian dollar, I like that. When you said that, I perked up. But how are we going to get these heifers down here to the States, and how are those things going to work?
You bet. So even with COVID happening, our borders are freely open to the movement of cattle. And so if you do purchase one of these females in the sale, we will get her tested to cross the border. We do have some central points through Ohio, Illinois, and Iowa that we can arrange, or you can arrange pickup on these females from. So we will work with you on getting these females down to the States, most likely in early November, just by the time the health papers get done. And of course, then we want to stay in touch with you. We have full intentions on heading down for Shorthorn Junior Nationals next summer in Louisville, and would love to see some of these heifers there, or meet up with our customers there as well. So yeah, we will definitely work with anyone, whether it's moving cattle across Canada or down into the States, on delivery and movement of these females.
I think that's great. Yeah, and so we've got to do some things to get some health things to get them across here. But you say the sale is October 5th, but you say early November that might work out.
You bet. It takes us a couple weeks to get some health papers arranged, and by the time we make contact with you and things like that, probably be quite early in November that we would have these females to some of those central points.
Okay. Is the plan to come with you guys to come to Louisville this year?
We're tossing it around. COVID certainly doesn't make it easy for us. But these heifers that are in the sale, especially those first 4 lots, I mean, they're ready. They're on track to be able to go to a show. So if you are interested in showing one of these heifers at Louisville, we certainly can work with you and make arrangements on any of the heifers, really, to make that maybe their first show that they get to.
Mm-hmm. So meet you in Louisville, show your heifer, and meet you guys if you haven't already, and take one home.
You bet, yeah.
Stacy, anything else we need to cover about the program, about the sale, anything else like that before we wrap this up?
I don't think so. I mean, we are really excited about this Volume 1 sale. We think that we've got 7 real high quality heifer lots to sell. and the semen, there's always a lot of excitement around Fireball, just with what he is and how he looks. And if you have any questions, about the sale, you can contact Blair, myself. Blair's phone number would be 450-521-4254, and my cell would be 780-718-0622. And that we'd love to visit with you about our program or the sale offering. We would love to invite anybody up here, but travel kind of makes that a little bit difficult. But we do have the photos and videos of the females that you can definitely take a look at and let us know if you have any questions or things like that.
Well, that sounds great. And Stacy, I appreciate you guys taking time and wanting to do this podcast. And I'd seen on some of our stats that we did have a few Canadian listeners, and I thought that was really great when I found out that you were one of those Canadian listeners, and enjoyed the program. And I appreciate you being willing to come on and get us Before the Bid Podcast International going up there into Canada. So.
Well, thank you for having us. Like you said, we have been avid listeners, especially myself, driving a lot of miles. I do listen to a lot of podcasts, and Before the Bid was definitely one that's been on the radar and frequently downloaded, and we are honored to be your first international guest.
That's great. And again, want to invite everybody to watch the sale there and bid and be part of that sale on SC Online Sales, October 5th. And go down there and look for Millbrook's Northern Exposure, Volume 1. And also, if you're a Facebook user, which I don't know too many people that aren't Facebook users in one way or another, go to the Millbrook Facebook page and Millbrook Farm Facebook page, and you can see what Stacy has put up on there. And Stacy, if I want to give you just a second, give yourself a little promo on some pictures and things. Are you still available? How does that go about?
Yeah, I am still available for pictures and videos through as we move into the winter and spring. You can contact me whether you want through the Millbrook page. I'm the one who's checking that. I'm the one who did all the photos and videos for the sale heifers. Always looking to work with some new families and new breeders. So if you are interested, you can get in touch with me that way or through my phone number there as well.
You go look at these pictures and the videos and see them on the podcast video or on SC, and what nice high quality pictures those are. And if you need somebody to come take some pictures, why get a hold of Stacy, and if she's as easy to work with as I'm sure she is to get a podcast ready, why you're going to have an enjoyable time and get a great product as well. So again, Stacy, just want to thank you for joining us, and want to wish you luck on the first sale and as things go on, and hope to work with you here in the future for the Millbrook Northern Exposure sales. And again, want to invite you to do that. SC Online Sales, October 5th. And again, Stacy, want to thank you for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Andy.
All right. And we want to thank you for enjoying another edition of Before the Bid Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Before the Bid. For more information and to learn more about upcoming podcasts and sales, visit us at beforethebid.podbean.com or Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram pages. For information on being a guest on Before the Bid, please email us at beforethebid@gmail.com or one of our social media pages. Remember, that's beforethebid@gmail.com. Happy sales to you, and we will talk to you next time on Before the Bid.